Hey there, netizens.
Welcome to Sway Me. In today's episode, we'll be talking about marijuana. And I promise you, we're not high. So today's topic, guys, is marijuana therapeutic or detrimental?
Right.
So, is marijuana therapeutic or detrimental? First of all, what is marijuana? For those of you who, we are all about educating you guys
Right.
and uplifting you. So,
Yep.
what is marijuana?
It's a plant.
It's a plant. It's a plant. Yeah, it's a plant, and it grows from the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And according to one famous Jamaican songwriter, leave the trees and let them live. Ow. Literally, that's what he says. Ow. All right. So, what does therapeutic mean, and what does detrimental mean?
Can I try? Let me try therapeutic. So, to me, therapy, it's like a way to get your body, your mind to operate better. Right. So, if you have a chronic disease or pain or ailment, then therapy is a method that can be used to improve your way of your handling of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it reduces pain and help you with a mental load.
All right. Something that is detrimental is something that's damaging to your system or your body or your mind. So, the question asks, is marijuana therapeutic or detrimental? Today we're going to be talking about whether or not we think it is either of the two.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our opinions first. Usually we talk about what other people say first and then we form our opinions. But I just kind of want to have an idea of where your mind is located right now.
Right. Okay. Well, as is the case with many other things, where I am now in life is different from where I was before. Currently, where I am, and I think this is what I have gathered with the information I have from my life. Like, I think this is my belief now. Long story short, so I don't believe that we should be altering our minds. I feel like any chemical or so that alters your mind, and sadly including coffee. I think we should kind of steer clear.
Coffee is a chemical?
Caffeine.
And that's a chemical?
Yeah, many things
so
are.
Doesn't it come from like the earth?
A lot of everything, if you look at it through a microscope, everything comes down to chemicals. Everything is a chemical, really and truly.
I am going to dispute that. I feel like you can make the coffee from its natural form. It doesn't have to have any chemicals. Come on, we come from Jamaica.
Let's talk about let's define chemical first, all right? So, like, think of like a chemical reaction. Think back to like.
But can a chemical be natural?
Yes. Natural occurring chemicals. Let me define chemical. Let me find something to give
I'm learning a lot.
A definition of chemical. So, a chemical is, if it's used as a noun, which is what we want, it's a substance or compound that has been purified or prepared, especially artificially. Oh, so I guess I was thinking of a wrong definition of chemical. In my head a while ago, I was thinking along the lines of everything
react like a chemical reaction inside your body, like
right. Okay. And like everything broken down, you have the atoms, elements, compounds. I'm thinking of that, and like, for example, water and what? Water and what's in the body? Water and
saline.
Water and sodium, or water and sodium chloride, anything that operates, any reaction in the body. That's where I was thinking. Not like, I know where you were going. You're thinking like pharmacies and pills and
things that are artificial or man-made or man-produced.
Right. That's not what I was trying to say. I'm just saying anything that can have an impact on our body. Well, that's everything. Anything that can change the psyche of our minds, that can make you start seeing things weird or act differently than who you are, from who you are on a regular basis. That's what I'm calling a chemical today.
Okay, well, I feel like what were you saying before? No, I feel like I was.
We were talking about is what are our thoughts on marijuana.
No, yeah, I know that, but I was wondering what you were trying to get at when you spoke about the chemicals.
I was saying that I believe that as human beings, it's beneficial for us to remain in a natural state or close to natural.
Yeah.
So not to take things that will alter our minds. I know that this might sound naive because, of course, there's diseases, there's pains and stuff. So we take, for example, ibuprofen or stronger stuff in order to manage pain. I completely understand that. But regarding this topic of marijuana, I'm just saying, I think we can stay clear. However, if it is a choice between marijuana or like pills and chemicals from the pharmacy, okay, marijuana, take that one instead. I'm just thinking.
So what is your answer to the question? Netizens, what is wrong with her?
I'm trying to find it.
Is marijuana therapeutic or detrimental?
It can be either.
But you need to pick a side. Come on.
Can I stay in the middle like Jackie?
Or like Shibata?
On the borderline?
On the borderline.
We're up on the borderline, guys.
This is serious.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle here.
I feel like marijuana is therapeutic, and that's my natural instinct towards natural feeling towards it. As a plant that comes from the earth, I feel like it should serve the purposes just as any other food from the organic food groups.
Okay.
It is when people choose to abuse the plant that makes it detrimental to our health. So yes, it can be either, but it depends on how it is used by individuals. So the plant itself is therapeutic. The plant itself cannot be detrimental.
It's the use of it.
There you go.
Okay.
So that's my take on it. And netizens, correct me if I'm wrong, or if you don't agree with me, comment that below. All right, so that's all. That's those. So are you swayed yet, or you still on the borderline?
Right in the middle.
Shibata, come get her. All right, so it is definitely dependent on how it is used. And when I say dependent on how it is used, I'm talking about the frequency to which it is used, the dosage, the amount it is had in, and the individual's condition. Because if you know that you have a lung problem and you decide to take marijuana as your therapy by smoking, obviously that's not going to be wise.
There are other ways.
There are other ways. You can boil it, you can make soup, you can make an oil, you can make a tea. There are so many ways that plant can be used. It's a healing herb. And I am so pro marijuana. I'm not a marijuana user. I am Jamaican, but I do believe that it has some very powerful effects. And we'll talk about this throughout the show. All right, so can we talk about the therapeutic? You're on the borderline, so you're going to make a good discussion. Therapeutic effects. Okay. Let's talk about that.
Okay, good. I think that, like I mentioned before, for people who are suffering from chronic illnesses, pain, my thumb is doing something weird right now. So I think that the use of, let me say, cannabis is formed from, that's like the CBD,
the cured form,
the element in there that's giving us these properties.
Yeah, after it is cured, right? Let's see what Google has to say about
cannabis. I think it's cannabis. I want to say here, the use of cannabis correct me if I'm wrong. I'll do the research and correct myself in editing. The use of this chemical now, I know it's been proven it can minimize a person's pain level. So basically, what does it do? It numbs it like slows down the responses of the neurons.
I'm not a scientist,
Hmm.
so I can't relate to what you're talking about. All I know is that there are people who suffer from pain, chronic pain in most cases, who have benefited from using the marijuana plant in whatever way.
Yeah.
But I can't speak to cannabis because I have not done a research on cannabis itself.
Cannabis is from marijuana. So basically the active ingredient, or is that I don't know.
All right, so here I pulled up something that says there is no difference between marijuana and cannabis, and the two terms are often used to describe the same thing. Marijuana refers to cannabis plants that have a certain level of THC. Do you know how to pronounce that word, THC? Tetrahydrocannabinol.
Tetrahydrocannabinol. Binol.
Tetrahydrocannabinol.
Yeah, we said it. We said it right.
Wow.
So okay. I know that this component of marijuana, it can be used for not healing, but to manage pain. Yeah.
All right. So some other therapeutic effects of marijuana. So Ava said pain relief. It acts as a pain reliever. It acts also as an anxiety reducer. It can help people who have had PTSD to help them to stay calm when they get super excited or hypo aggravated, for want of a better term. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is that it can help with nausea and appetite stimulation. And for these two, I can talk about two separate conditions. So where nausea is concerned, a lot of people who have cancer, they tend to have to go through chemotherapy. And the chemotherapy causes them to be nauseous. And so a lot of the times, it's the marijuana that helps them to not feel as nauseous as they could as a side effect of the chemotherapy. So that's one. And then on the other side, there is people who are carriers of HIV, the virus. It helps to kind of stimulate their appetite because they tend not to want to eat. Hence why most of them are super thin. They don't want to eat. Maybe because of the medicine, maybe because of just the condition itself as well.
Right.
But marijuana does open up your appetite. And for the people who are aware, it's something that's called the munchies. Right? That's how that came about. Because when you have the marijuana, or smoke it, drink it, whatever, however you choose to use it, it makes you hungry.
Yeah.
It stimulates your appetite. So for people who have HIV, that's like a good go-to treatment for them.
Okay. So couldn't something else be used to open up one's appetite?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That doesn't dispute the fact that marijuana can do that. And marijuana is free. Well, if you live in certain parts, marijuana is free.
I don't think it's free.
There was a marijuana plant growing in the front of my yard in Jamaica.
But do you know how to prepare it?
It doesn't need to be prepared. You can cook it like a tea or a soup.
Or
the leaves, yeah.
Okay.
You can put the leaves. You can put little bits of the buds inside of it. You can prepare it like a soup. In the soup, it's the buds. Yeah, you've never had that?
No.
Yeah, I've never had that either. All right. But yeah, there are positive effects or therapeutic, as I should say, effects to having marijuana. Another one I think is seizures. It helps with seizures. So if somebody has trouble with epilepsy and similar conditions that cause seizures, then it helps to minimize the severity of the seizure. It doesn't stop it, but it helps them to not fidget as much.
It's like it relaxes the body.
It relaxes their muscles a lot more. And then so in my research prior to today on marijuana, not cannabis, I never looked up cannabis, I just looked at marijuana. These are some of the things that I saw coming up in most of the articles that were read. And I decided that I wanted to add another one, which is religion. So I know this might sound a little weird to some people, but religion is therapeutic for a lot of people. A lot of people go to church as a means of escaping the world, exercising their ability to worship and things like that. However, for Rastafarians in Jamaican culture, as far as I know, the marijuana plant is used as a part of therapy that goes hand in hand with their religion.
So kind of like ayahuasca in certain Native American rituals.
I'm not aware of that, but you could educate me. I'm down for it.
I'm trying to remember something I heard. Let me continue. I'm gonna try and do some research on that.
Right. So the marijuana plant has so many effects. Just to recap the therapeutic effects of it, it's a pain reliever. It is an anxiety reducer, PTSD reducer. It reduces nausea and stimulates the appetite. It minimizes seizures and seizure-related disorders, as well as it is a great complement in religious practices.
Okay, that's true. Because if you're in Jamaica, like growing up, it's like known that, well, not known, because not every Rastafarian smokes marijuana or uses marijuana, but that's kind of a stereotype that people have when they think Rastafarian.
I think you're talking about dreads.
No, the religion.
Because there's a difference between dread and Rastafarian.
I know that. But I'm saying not every Rastafarian uses marijuana
to worship in their religion.
I don't believe so. No.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure.
Here goes #Team Avia again.
I'm just saying.
But yeah. There are also some detrimental effects. For instance, it can affect your mental health. Like Avia said earlier, anything that is used and overused to the point that it's abused can be detrimental to your health. So marijuana can affect your mental health in terms of it. If you use it heavily, then it can cause health issues like anxiety, depression, and even in some cases psychosis. So just as how it can alleviate the symptoms of these things, excessive use of it or overuse of it can cause them as well. So you have to find a good balance in between if you need to use it. So that's why they say if you're using THC products, you have to make sure that you don't mix them with other drugs, or you make sure that you don't overindulge in using them.
But knowing people,
you know people?
No, I don't know anybody. But
what about me?
I know some people. Some people, I can't comment. But I did find out about the ayahuasca I was talking about, like for the religious ceremonies. I was comparing you saying Rastafarians use marijuana in religious ceremonies to some people using ayahuasca. So I found here that it's believed that Aboriginal peoples are the earliest practitioners of ayahuasca ceremonies, and it's their connection to like their history and stuff. So just a comparison. It's not relevant to the conversation, but just a connection.
So you did the
that I made
research
there.
to make the connection.
Yeah.
I think that I think that that's pretty credible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, good job. So yeah, so we were talking about the detrimental effects.
Okay.
Do you care to share some of the things that you think are detrimental effects to using marijuana or overusing marijuana?
Okay, sure. So I think a detrimental effect of marijuana, like excessive marijuana use, is like a person's mental health, because when you are overdoing something like we spoke about before, that will kind of mold your brain. Like, for example, people who do cocaine, people who are alcoholics and stuff, when scientists study their brain, like after their death, like seeing what their brain looks like, you can see basically the atrophying of the brain and the corroding of it. Like, there's detrimental effects, like, of overdoing stuff.
But if I'm already dead, how is that detrimental to me?
It's been detrimental. They're just showing the end product.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So if you compare it to a quote unquote healthy brain of a person who didn't dabble in those things, there's a big difference. Of course, it's like there's a scale, but they're just showing
what the end result is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did touch on that, but that piece of information is quite interesting, to be honest. So what about like cognitive function? Do you think it affects like the cognitive functioning at all, and how?
Yeah, I think so, because I think if you're using certain drugs, well, we're talking about marijuana, if you're using it constantly, if you're every day, every night, you can't function without it, over time, that will affect your memory. It's been shown in studies. It does affect your memory. It affects your mental state. So you could be depressed, especially if you're predisposed to depression, and a plethora of other symptoms that you might face.
And especially for like people who use marijuana, like younger people who engage in marijuana use
before the brains develop,
and overuse of it, it causes them to lose concentration, and they're not able to focus for long periods of time. So that's scientifically proven too. Overusing it can cause, lack of focus.
Right.
So, and then the most detrimental of all, I think, is the dependence on marijuana plants. So when you're dependent on something, like Ava said, you have to have it. And if you don't have it, you will steal, you will kill, you will burn people's houses down. You go crazy for it because you need to have it. And so that's definitely something that's detrimental if you overuse or abuse marijuana. So netizens, I know a lot of you get super excited when we say, yeah, we're from Jamaica and all of that, but being from Jamaica does not necessarily mean that you smoke marijuana. That's one thing that I must add. And also like there are good things about it and bad things about it. A lot of Jamaicans really do use it as a form of social entertainment, or like how you'd say, I drink socially, but I'm not a drinker.
Yeah.
A lot of Jamaicans do that too. Like, I smoke socially, but I'm not a smoker. I'm not going to go buy a spliff or a $50 bag of weed to go to my home to smoke it by myself, right? But if I go to maybe an event, a boat ride, a party, I'm on the beach for an event, and that's something that is socially acceptable that people can do. So there are situations in which, people do use marijuana and not abuse it.
Right.
And marijuana causes respiratory issues,
Yeah, if you're smoking.
If you're smoking it, it can definitely cause you respiratory issues. Like, it can make your asthma worse. It can cause chronic bronchitis. These are things that, a lot of people have had situations or conditions that help to that were assisted by marijuana.
Yeah. Something that I think we should be mindful of too is like letting people know that it's okay not to follow the crowd. So just because you're out with friends or out with a group of people and they're doing whatever
smoking
they're
marijuana,
yeah, doesn't mean that you have to. It's fine.
But it's also fine to try if you so desire. Remember that things must be done within reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know people who have been to events and maybe they have a product, like a marijuana product, and they've tried these products because they want to see if the CBD oil is going to make their skin look clearer, or if it's going, the soap with CBD in it is going to clear up your acne, or if this CBD tea is going to clean your gut. So there are things that you can try, but try just not to get addicted to it. And that's a difficult thing to do, because sometimes what my mind can handle, somebody else's mind might not be able to handle that. So just know your limits, guys. Let's see what the netizens have to say.
All right, let's take a look. Alrighty, so I have found a little note from one of our netizens who was suffering from a chronic illness. So the person says, before starting medical cannabis, I couldn't get out of bed. I was sore and tired all of the time, and I wasn't sleeping. I was miserable. By taking inhaled CBD during the day and THC at night, I'm sleeping and my pain is gone. So that's, what's that? Would you say detrimental or therapeutic?
Definitely therapeutic. I'm swayed. Are you swayed? She's still on the borderline. Netizens, help me out here.
For medicinal purposes, I'm like, yes, go for it.
That's what everybody has been saying, though.
Who is everybody?
Me?
Okay, and I found a lot of others from like teenagers who say that they've been addicted from middle school and they're working on it, or some say they don't see the harm, so they're just going to continue. So with that, I feel like there should be an age limit on this. Like, I don't think kids should be dabbling in marijuana or THC or any of these things.
Can there really be an age limit on anything at all?
That's true, because what if the kid has
parents who are introducing it to them? And I have had first-hand experience with that, because I know kids whose parents have introduced them to smoking weed, and they are stuck in that habit, and they struggle just as much as the parents to get out of that habit.
So it goes back to the home once again.
It does go back to the home.
Because if you're taught something, you're seeing it every single day of your life, it's really hard to be taught or to unlearn those habits that you develop.
Yeah, that's true. And while that is so, you can be from a household where nobody smoked weed ever, but you're curious and you want to try it because you're Jamaican and
or whatever nationality you are.
I mean, but yeah, everybody know that we're associated with the Bob Marley.
Yeah.
You just have to call a spade, and that's how I do it. Everybody knows that. So I just feel like it's kind of like a Jamaican person never going to a Jamaican carnival. And Jamaica is known for... I know
a lot of people who haven't.
No, I know that too, but I'm just saying it's part of the cultural experience that a lot of people might want to have. You know?
I get you.
Not everybody, but a lot of people might want to be able to speak to another nationality of people about parts or aspects of our culture.
I hear you. Definitely true.
So just be wise, and if you can't be good, be careful, and don't try anything at home. Don't try this at home.
Oh boy.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Sway Me. And we hope that you like the video, share, subscribe, all the things. Comment below because that does help the algorithm and that helps us in determining what you guys would like to see next.
Yeah. What do you like? Tell us in the comments. What would you like to see more of? Less of? No, you don't want to see less of.
But yeah. No, but we want to know. We want to know what you want to see less of too, because then we'll stop making that kind of content.
Yes, we're here to help you.
Have you been swayed?
A little bit. I'm like a little bit.
Oh, she's moving. Okay, there we go. All right, netizens. See, we did that. All right, thanks for tuning in. See you again in the next episode. Bye.